Mike Vrabel was a much better football coach in the AFC Championship game than Sean Payton. You have any issue with sort of the way Payton handled that at the podium?
Yeah, I do. Because when he says, I'm going to be critical of myself, how valiant of you, Sean. I don't think there's a person that's waking up this morning and saying, man, the Broncos lost that game because of X, Y, and Z. I think everyone is waking up and saying Sean Payton is squarely the reason why the Broncos lost that football game, even with a backup quarterback, even in incredibly snowy conditions. I view that one decision to go for it on fourth down instead of kicking it and taking the points squarely as the reason why the Broncos lost that football game. And of course, they turned the ball over far too much. The Patriots get a strip sack, they turn that into a touchdown, and of course, the turnover late in the game. And you can't do those things and expect to win football games. But also, you can't go for it deep in your opponent's territory on fourth down in a game where everyone knew. I knew, Fitz, you knew, everyone watching that game knew. Anybody who's watching these two teams all season long knew that points were of the essence. Points were going to be the most important thing. We knew that this was going to be a low scoring affair. The points were going to be so important, and Sean Payton just kind of just left him out there and said, no thanks. No thanks. We're good. With a backup quarterback, knowing that the conditions were going to be as bad as they are. We've all got weather apps on our phones. Okay. I'm sure Sean Payton knew what the weather was going to be like. That he's not going to take the gimmies. I thought that was an epic disaster of a decision, Fitz.
Yeah, I agree. And part of this is, again, analytics are so important, but I think they're one tool. They're not every tool. They're one tool.
They're a
So
tool.
what I need great coaches to do is to take a little bit of analytics and then a little bit of gut. Like that's what they're paid for. Like coaches are paid to read the room. All of us watching the game saw one important thing in the first quarter, particularly. Drake May wasn't playing well. Drake May was seeing ghosts. Drake May looked tight early in this football game. The
Mm-hmm.
Patriots didn't really look like a threat. To me, what you do in that situation, even though it's tempting to say, let's go hit the knockout punch, I'm not sure going up 10-0 wouldn't have felt like a knockout punch in that moment. Like the number of times here I thought, hey, why are you not playing to what the other offense seems to be limited with? Now, Drake May was great with his legs. We'll get into Drake in a minute. But early in this game, if you have the chance to go up by 2 scores, when the quarterback on the other side is obviously not playing well, when your defense obviously has the advantage, when you're controlling the momentum, when you're at home with that absolute just incredible crowd that was making my TV shake, when you have all of that happening around you and you choose to not take points, that to me is just asinine. And you're right. I think one important thing, and look, I looked at local because I'm that much of a nerd. I looked at local meteorologist tweets about the weather before the game. Everyone knew that weather might be coming in. So you have to actually factor that in as well. Maybe nobody knew it was going to get that gross in the second half. I think the broadcast told us 3 billion times that I've never seen the weather change. I get it. I get that the weather became an issue. But early on in this game, when you have the chance to just not just lay a significant punch into your opponent, you do it. Wear them down. Go up 10-0 because Drake May wasn't playing well, and the analytics can't see that. So I think that's where Sean Payton, the Hall of Fame coach, needs to act like Sean Payton, the Hall of Fame coach. And I don't think he did. It's not just about his quarterback, and I think you're right. He forgot that he had a backup in there. He had maybe too much confidence in that. It's also about seeing the other quarterback. I don't think Sean Payton did that at all.
And I will give Sean Payton credit. He did let Jarrett Stidham rip it. And he did show a lot of trust in Jarrett Stidham early. And I think both of these quarterbacks had the jitters early. You could tell that. You could tell that maybe the moment, the environment was affecting both of these guys. Well, you've got a guy who's making his first start in 2 years and a second-year quarterback making his first appearance in the AFC Championship game. All of those things are to be understood. But to your point, I do feel like, look, you want to show your quarterback that you trust him. You do want to give your quarterback a little bit of confidence, but you will also have to understand the position that you're in and the way that can affect your football team. Because it's not just missing out on the points. Like, yes, going up 14-0 is much better than going up 10-0, but I'll take the points, period. It's also the momentum, though, the momentum swing that went away from the Broncos and squarely into the Patriots after that 4th-and-1 decision. This was a tweet from Andrew Mason, who covers the Denver Broncos locally in Denver. Before that 4th-and-1, Denver was averaging 4.8 yards per play and had 8 total first downs. After the 4th-and-1 play, 1.7 yards per play, and only 3 first downs. Now, you could say the weather was a factor there, which I'm sure that it was. And you could say, okay, once you get out of some of your scripted calls, then this good Patriots defense is going to try and sniff out what you do. Of course, there's so many factors there. But I do have to believe that the momentum swing was a massive shift there on that 4th and 1. Once the Broncos did not convert on that 4th down, you could feel it was like punching a hole in a balloon. It was like all of the momentum just fell so incredibly flat on that Broncos sideline.
Yeah, 100%. And momentum. Athletes, look, whether we believe in momentum or not, whether everyone watching believes, if you talk to guys in locker rooms, to a man, every single one of them will tell you momentum's wildly real, and you have to seize it when you have it. And they just weren't ready, and there wasn't any way to get that momentum back. It felt disjointed. And I'll go to another example of disjointed, and I will again credit Mike Vrabel, who I think had a great game in this as a coach. The Broncos threw a late interception, and it was an inexcusable throw by Stidham. He shouldn't have made it. Was everything about it was wrong. But the key to that play was that they made a late substitution, at which point Vrabel did something. If you've followed Mike Vrabel at all back to his Tennessee years, he always does brilliantly. When you substitute late, he's going to substitute late also. And he's going to make sure that one of the people he's substituting on the field is a fat guy that takes a really long time to get set, because he has to have the opportunity to get set. By the time the referee got out of the way to allow the snap to happen, there was only like 2 seconds left on the play clock. The entire play clock was just then disrupting the play. Everything was disjointed for the Broncos. The play felt wrong from the outset. They weren't right. They didn't have a timeout they could burn, and they throw a pick. That's Mike Vrabel. That's coaching. That is somebody understanding the situation and, frankly, again, kicking Sean Payton's ass. There are a lot of people that we can blame for the Broncos only putting up 7 points. I just happen to believe that Vrabel is one of the people that should get credit, and Payton gets some of the blame. I also have to give you credit, my friend, because I sat here all week last week, and I said there will be no drop-off. Jarrett Stidham is going to be just fine. And in the first quarter, boy, I was swaggy walking around my house. I was ready to come in here and just give you the business. I was like, oh, Stidham with that deep throw. I was like, oh, Stidham going to get himself a job. He's going to get paid. I was talking my talk. And then that interception happened. And all I kept thinking about is what you said last week on this show. When you said Bo Nix doesn't make mistakes in big moments, and they're going to need him in a tight game. It turns out I don't think Bo Nix makes that throw. I don't think Bo Nix makes that mistake. I think this game actually would have been different with their starting quarterback in. And you saw that coming before kickoff ever happened.
It's not rocket science. It wasn't crazy. And it was astonishing to me to hear so much of the commentary surrounding Jarrett Stidham. And this is not an anti-Jarrett Stidham sentiment. This is just a sentiment of whenever your starting quarterback, who's been incredibly reliable in crunch time, goes down, and you have to go to your backup who hasn't attempted a pass in almost 800 days in the National Football League. It's fair to expect some drop-off. And I heard so much love for Sean Payton and how much trust he had in Jarrett Stidham and how Jarrett Stidham was going to wow all of us. And I kept thinking, why? What is the basis for this? What is everybody seeing? And what is everybody, understanding that I'm not seeing and not understanding? It's not rocket science. In the National Football League, when you're playing with your backup quarterback, there are just certain tools that you do not have available when you have your starting quarterback. An element of that is trust. An element of that is, F it, I'll put the team on my back. We don't have to love Bo Nix. You don't have to love Bo Nix and who he is as a quarterback. But what you cannot deny is how Bo Nix has stepped up in late game moments. The Broncos have played and have won a lot of close games, not just this postseason, but in the regular season as well. And a big reason why they were coming up in the win column was because Bo Nix would make one big play, Bo Nix would make one big throw and set up the Broncos in a position to win a football game. And when they asked Jarrett Stidham to do that, he fell short. And it's because you cannot always ask your backup to do what your starter does. It's not fair, especially when it's a guy that doesn't have a lot of NFL experience.
To your point, the interception at the end sealed the game. And frankly, the Patriots' limited points partly came off of a backwards pass that Stidham didn't have to make. I mean, he was out of position. The screen was nowhere to be found. And he tries to heave the ball desperately. And that was the wrong thing to do. So two plays. If we really want to narrow this thing down, you could argue that 2 plays decided the AFC Championship game, and those 2 plays were 2 mistakes by Jarrett Stidham. I think your point is a really important one, too. What happened to me and to so many of us, and I'll just flat out admit it, what happened to so many of us is we just took Sean Payton's word for it. And we gave Sean Payton heaping just truckloads of benefit of the doubt. Oh, Sean Payton says it. It must be true. Oh, Sean Payton's the head coach. He's a Hall of Famer. It's going to be great. Oh, Sean Payton's going to have it worked out. Caroline, I'm going to keep going back to this, and I'm going to say it loud and proud for Patriots fans everywhere. Your coach kicked their coach's butt. And I think that comes down to the game. That comes down to the play calling. That comes down to the situational awareness. Hell, that comes down to the lead up, all of it. Like Mike Vrabel had his guys out there ready to go. And when this game felt like it was slipping away, the Patriots stayed together. Vrabel did that. I think all of us gave Sean Payton way too much benefit of the doubt.
And look, Sean Payton's an excellent coach. Sean Payton has won a Super Bowl. And when we broke down where the advantages are, also that photo's awfully intimate. Very cutesy of them.
It is very, very. Wow. I wonder if they butterfly kissed at the end. It's like,
Good job, Mike. I'm so proud of you. What a precious, sweet little moment.
I knew you could do it.
But when I'm so proud of you. I'm so cold. Hold me tight. When we were breaking down this game and where the advantage lied for both of these sides, I gave head coach advantage to Sean Payton because Sean Payton had the skins on the wall. Sean Payton had coached in those moments before. Just leave it up on the screen. Just football guys right there. Football guys doing football stuff. But, while I gave Sean Payton the coaching advantage, while I gave the Broncos the coaching advantage, and while Sean Payton didn't make all of these bad decisions, it was just one bad decision that did feel like the difference in this game. And when the margins are razor thin, when you're playing in an AFC Championship game, every single decision matters. We said the same thing about Sean McVay's goal line decision making on 3rd and 4th down against the Seahawks. That is one big reason why the Rams are not headed to the Super Bowl. Coaching decisions in the biggest moments, in those moments, they matter.